Hey YouTube, Petey Twofinger here, and if you've been around, you know that I used to smoke, even in my videos. I was handed a cigarette when I was a young teenager by my older brother, and I didn't think twice. I lit it up, and I got really high off that cigarette. I got a buzz off that thing, and that's why I liked it, and I became addicted, and I smoked for many years until it got too expensive to smoke. They got really expensive, and that was when I found out you could buy these tubes in a box with they were paper tubes, like a hollow cigarette, and it had a filter on it. And then you would get this crank machine where you would buy this pipe cut tobacco, which was really cheap, and it would come out to about $1 for a pack. And at the time, cigarettes were about $5 a pack. So you take this pipe tobacco and you put it in this machine. There's a slot in the top, and you lightly pack the tobacco in there, and then there's a slot where you put the tube on, and there's a crank that compresses and pushes the tobacco into the tube, and then you have a cigarette. So I would buy, like, they had little plastic cases to store them in, like a plastic cigarette box. Get that for $1. I had like a half a dozen of those, and my wife was actually cranking them for me because of my back injury. So she would come home and make cigarettes for about 20 minutes, and that would be, you pack them, and then there you go. I worked my way up to smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day, which was really bad. Now, I had tried to quit 9 times over the course of my life, and I always made it over a month. I made it 9 months one time. Usually it would be about 3 months I would make it. I would go through the withdrawal and that horrible feeling and get sick for about a month. The sickness is about 2 weeks, and it's really intense for 1 week, and then you kind of just feel awful for another week, and then the next 2 weeks, it's like something's really wrong. And then you're okay. But anytime you smell cigarettes, it's ding, 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 ding. That bell goes off, and it's like you're going to do anything to get a smoke. And that's why I always went back to it. Up until I vaped, and I thought about how they deal with methadone with heroin addicts. I've heard that you go to the clinic and they lower the methadone amount very small over a period of a long time. So that's what I did. I saw that if I was going to vape, buying the e-liquid is very expensive, and it went from 6 milligrams of nicotine down to 3 milligrams, down to one. And I thought, well, if I'm going to taper, I'm going to want to taper at like half a milligram level or even less. So we researched, and I bought the base, the flavoring, and the nicotine, and we made our own e-liquid, which was a lot cheaper. And I was able to lower the nicotine by just small amounts over 1 year, and I was down to zero. And when I hit zero, I quit vaping, and I haven't missed the cigarettes or the tobacco high. I'm fine with it. I don't even think about it anymore. So now we have people dying from vaping, and they're saying it's kids. They don't know if they're a good percentage of them have vaped vape marijuana, and some of them they don't know. There's legal vape, then there's marijuana vape, and then there's black market. So if they're black market guys, could be getting everybody sick. It could be big tobacco has got saboteurs in place to use some chemical that they know is going to get these people sick. The health community doesn't know. They just know that there's this respiratory infection that doesn't respond to antibiotics, and people are dying. So Trump is like, we're going to ban all vapes that have fruit flavors because that appeals to kids. Well, that's messed up because I'm not a kid. I don't eat candy. I'm not a sweet freak guy. I have a couple cookies at the end of the night. But that's a new thing that I did to reward myself since I quit smoking. But I'm not a sweet freak guy. But I didn't. Nobody that vapes, none of the adults that are vaping tobacco flavored vapes, because the tobacco flavor is horrible. It's an imitation. They're trying to clone a flavor of what you would smoke, and it's just terrible. Terrible. Now, that may have changed. They may have some stuff that's improvement from what I had, but what I was vaping was vanilla custard, which was a rich vanilla flavor. So this is a real sketchy proposition, because I think the kids that are vaping are they're getting that stuff probably from ordering online or paying one of their friends who's old enough. It's like, are we going to really let the state be our parents, our mom and dads, or are we going to do our jobs as parents? That's how I feel about it. So I think if you are going to ban everything, what you need to do is make it so it's a prescription thing. That if you're an adult and you want to vape because you're a smoker, like let's say I'm just me now and I'm not smoking, and I go to my doctor and I go, I would like to vape. I just miss the nicotine. The doctor would go, no, are you crazy? I'm not writing you. You would have to be a smoker, and if you're paying an exorbitant amount for insurance because you smoke, your insurance company should pay for the vape. The doctor would write you a prescription. You would go to the pharmacy or the vape shop and get your stuff. Simple as that. But banning everything and blaming it on fruit flavors, that's not the answer. Not if we don't know if it's black market marijuana, over-the-counter marijuana, or nicotine vape that's making these people sick. I mean, number one, they need to determine what it is. So, like I said, I feel strongly about it because I know that how hard it was for me and how I kept coming back to the cigarettes until I switched to vape. And like, there's this article here. So basically, the only reason I'm free from that horrible, stinky addiction that was killing me was because of this stuff. So when I hear they're going to take it away from everybody, I'm like, man, that's not the right move. Big tobacco's going to win. And I saw this article here. It says, the facts, 33 states have people that have gotten sick. Cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, fever, and weight loss. And then they give you these tips considering not using these products. Well, it's not that easy. I mean, youth and young adults should never use e-cigarettes. Well, duh, yeah. Women and pregnant. I mean, come on, this is absolutely ridiculous. Adults who don't currently use tobacco should not start. Yeah, this is a no-brainer, and I really don't think the only thing you have this thing with the kids doing it, and that comes down to people have to do their own parenting. I'm sorry, but the government is not going to be able to. If a kid wants to vape, a kid is going to vape, and he's just going to have to get busted doing that, and he's going to have to learn his lesson his own hard way. There's nothing that the government or parents can do about that. If a kid wants to vape, he's going to vape. Now, it says here in this article, puffing a cloud of smoke from an e-cig suddenly isn't so cool, if it ever was. And that's something I need to address, because when I was handed that first cigarette, I didn't think I was cool. I just smoked it because it was just, there it was. And no one was watching me. It wasn't a cool thing. Now, I know that, and I end up with a horrible addiction that really, I spent a lot of money on it to damage myself. So that's horrible and really, 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 really dumb, and I regret it. And I tried to get free from that, and I couldn't, which just shows you how sucky cigarettes really are. Now, with this cool man thing with the vapes, there is a percentage of people out there with the tattoos, the things in their ear, whatever you call those gauges, that are going to go, tattoos all over. They're going to go into Toys R Us and blow a big cloud in there and have their buddy film it. And there is a good percentage. I don't want to say a good percentage. It's about a quarter of the people that vape, maybe more by this time, that are those like vape douches. Real annoying with the big trucker hats, the hipster people that mock everybody, think they're how cool they are, blowing their clouds. And those people they're the worst. They really are the worst. And I did a whole video on those vape douches about, how we should be. And because I am passionate about this. I don't vape anymore. I haven't vaped in years. But I heard the story and I knew I had to make a video about it. So yes, that is a problem with people thinking they're cool. But it goes to show you what the perception of the outside world is. They resent vaping because of those vape douches. There's a small percentage of them that are doing that ruin it for everybody else. So all you guys that think you're so cool, and enjoy your nicotine withdrawal. And when you're having to spend $8 to buy a pack of Newports, and that's what you'll buy because you're a hipster, and then you have your lungs crystallized from the menthol. Good luck with that. And that you can sit down and have a good long hard think about how awesome you were when you made that video of yourself chucking clouds in the Toys R Us or the Chuck E. Cheese, and now you can't buy your vape anymore. Ha ha. No more blueberry taco surprise. So again, we need to determine why these people are getting sick. Is it some big tobacco paid some people to get some ingredient, some chemical, and pour it in this stuff? Is it that the Chinese manufacturers are like, oh, we're using this thickening agent, it's kind of expensive, there's this other thickening agent that we really shouldn't use, but we're going to put it in there anyway because it's going to save us a couple of yen? We're going to be able to buy 2 egg rolls instead of 1 with our dinner? Because those Chinese people, they do that. I'm not saying that I'm racist, and there's good and bad in all races, but I've heard like they had dog food that had poison in it. There was toothpaste with poison in it. They had drywall that had asbestos in it. All this stuff's coming over from China. So, is it black market people that are making weed vapes? So this is a very complicated thing, and I just wanted to try to stick up for vaping and say, hey, it's not all vape holes, vape douches that are out there using this product. Some of us use it as a smoking cessation tool, and it saved my life. So I had to speak up for it because I know that most people look at it like they've seen those guys with the curly mustaches blowing smoke clouds, blowing these giant clouds, where I was hiding it. I wasn't doing it in public. When I did do it in public, I would put my hand, blow it into my shirt. I didn't want people knowing I was doing it. So, how this is going to play out, how this is going to work out, I probably will make another video on this as this plays out, because I really think something's going to happen. Like they're going to crack down on it. Anyway, this really sucks, and my heart goes out to the poor victims. And if you're out there and you're not a smoker, or if you're a kid and you're watching this video, obviously don't. Just don't. All right, you guys. Peace.